The sound of an arrow hitting the foam of a Delta McKenzie target is unlike any other in the archery world. When you hear it, you know exactly what it is, and it's music to your ears.
Got it, good shot.
For many of the nearly 2,000 archers who traveled from all over the world to Foley, Alabama for the Hoyt Easton Pro-Am, last week was the first time they'd heard that thump in 6 months. 3D season is here, and it felt good to be back.
12. Job.
Handshakes, hugs, laughter, and smiles were shared among old friends and new as the 2022 Delta McKenzie ASA season kicked off in the warmth of Gulf Shores. The ASA community is unique. In what other avenue of life is your best friend your fiercest rival?
But if you could, you would hit and kick and block them both. You know.
I don't blame them.
This ain't no team sport.
Where you grit your teeth in focused determination to vanquish an opponent who you'll gladly celebrate with if their day turned out just a little bit better than yours.
Good job.
That was.
Oh, I'm
Did
sorry.
you just say that
I just
out
said
loud?
good. I was talking like good job to John, not like good
I
job.
thought we was tight. I was rooting for you earlier, but
Competitive fires ignited Thursday afternoon when more than 400 pros and amateurs were grouped together for the Zebra Bowstrings team shoot. In case you haven't noticed, this feature of every national ASA tournament has become one of the most popular. Who wouldn't want the chance to walk a range listening to Tim Gillingham talk about arrow building and torque tuning? Or to witness Sharon Wallace working through her processes for judging distance and managing a course? And besides the educational facet, it's just plain fun to play the 3D game as a team. The 4 pro divisions started their 2022 ASA season under a Gulf Coast downpour Friday morning.
Do I like shooting in the rain? No.
Fortunately, the rain dissipated quickly, but only because it was blown out by a gusting wind. Long targets in tricky conditions quickly showed who was ready and who needed to find their stride. Saturday morning brought chilly air under calm sunny skies, and the pros took off. High school bio teacher Calvin Gross shot the round of his life Saturday morning, hitting 17 of 20 12 rings en route to a total weekend score of 52 up, which led the known pro field of a record-setting 106 archers. The tops of the senior pro and women's pro leaderboards looked familiar, with Tim Gillingham and Cara Kelly taking control of their ranges. And in Open Pro, Andy Calloway shot a stellar 18-up round to lead that field with a combined score of 26 up for the weekend.
All right, welcome back to the Foley Event Center, the Hoyt Easton Pro-Am here, Delta McKenzie ASA Tour.
The Pro Pressure Point shootdowns featured many familiar faces and several new ones. Making either their first or second ever shootdown appearances were Caitlin Boardwell in Women's Pro, Joe Pitt in Senior Pro, Brian Meese in Open Pro, and Calvin Gross, Michael Hulbert, and Tim Chekarowski in Known Pro. In Women's Pro, Sharon Wallace cut a 5-point lead by Cara Kelly down to 1 ahead of the 6th and final arrow. Wallace shot a 10, forcing Kelly to match her, which she did to take the Foley event 2 years in a row.
I don't even have any words. I mean, that was a heck of a shoot down. The girls shot awesome. I'm thrilled.
Hear what is going on there with Tim's bow.
Tim will try anything.
In the Senior Pro shootdown, the Hammer stood on the line with the craziest stabilizer setup of any archer at the Hoyt Easton Pro-Am last weekend and silenced everyone who might have laughed at him. He never gave up his lead and didn't even need to shoot his final arrow to win. At the crowd's insistence, of course.
Yeah,
come on.
Do it, Tim.
Gillingham lit up the room by smashing the 14 with that last shot, furthering his legend as one of the greatest tournament archers of this generation.
I judged very well. I managed the course extremely well. I just shot 2 solid rounds, didn't make big mistakes, tried to be patient, and I picked up a bunch of 12s in the last, 3 targets both days. So, that was kind of the kicker.
It took 2021 Shooter of the Year Dan McCarthy 1 arrow to move from second place into a tie for first with Andy Calloway in the Open Pro shootdown. 2 more targets and McCarthy took the lead.
McCarthy's shot is a dozen.
He and Callaway then traded 12s until the last arrow. Callaway went for the kill with a perfectly judged shot at the 14 ring, but his arrow was just right of its mark and hit the 5. That slipped Callaway to 3rd behind Joseph Goza, and McCarthy shot a 12 to take the crown.
Anytime you just need a 10 to win, it's a pretty good feeling. That's a pretty big ring down there, and so that's the best case scenario in this class that you could hope for. And it's not a guaranteed thing, but
in known pro, it took the archers a couple of shots to find the bonus rings, but Michael Hulbert eventually drilled a 14 to climb into a tie for first with Gross ahead of the 6th and final arrow. On that shot, Hulbert also went for the knockout punch, missing the 14 ring low for an 8. That meant all Gross had to do was hit a 10 to win.
There it is.
Got it.
Look at him.
You could hear the cheers all the way from Harlan County High School in Kentucky when Gross nailed that 10 and fulfilled his lifelong dream of winning a professional archery tournament.
This is a dream come true. Like I told you earlier, I started when I was 5 with my dad, and it just feels so good to be here right now, and I'm thankful to the Lord.
Overcast skies and a weak breeze made for perfect shooting conditions Sunday morning as the amateurs finished their final rounds. The first ASA podium ceremony of the season was marked by plenty of smiling archers who did what they needed to do to succeed in competition against their peers. We also think about the tragic losses suffered during the week by 2 other family members, TJ Strachalski and Levi Morgan. In the ASA, we share in each other's triumphs and tragedies. Their pain is our pain, and as we prepare for and look ahead to Fort Benning in a couple weeks, we pray for perseverance and healing for our suffering friends and their families until we are all together again.